From stage to world stage, Zelensky's unorthodox path to power. Volodymyr Zelensky's journey to the helm of Ukraine was unconventional, to say the least. A comedian by profession, his career was a tapestry woven from satire, humor, and a keen understanding of the human condition. Zelensky's ability to connect with audiences through laughter and relatable narratives propelled him to national fame. This popularity unexpectedly translated into political capital, catapulting him to the presidency in 2019. Ukrainians yearning for change and a break from traditional politics embraced Zelensky's outsider status. His lack of political experience, once a perceived weakness, transformed into a symbol of hope for a nation grappling with corruption and disillusionment. Zelensky's victory was a testament to the power of popular appeal and the yearning for a fresh perspective. However, the world stage operates on a different script, one where laughter often gives way to the somber pronouncements of war and diplomacy. The skills that served him well in the entertainment industry, charisma, quick wit, and an ability to read an audience, would soon be tested in the unforgiving arena of international relations. As Zelensky transitioned from the world of make-believe to the high-stakes realm of global politics, the world watched with bated breath, wondering if this comedic novice could successfully navigate the treacherous currents of geopolitics. The answer, as with most things in life, is far more nuanced than a simple yes or no. The gathering storm, Russia's military buildup, and ominous signals. As 2021 unfolded, a sense of unease settled over Eastern Europe. Russia, under the steely gaze of Vladimir Putin, began amassing troops along its border with Ukraine. What started as a trickle soon turned into a torrent of military hardware and personnel, raising alarm bells across the international community. Satellite images painted a stark picture: tanks lined up in battle formations, artillery pieces in strategic positions, and a steady influx of soldiers, their presence a clear signal of Russia's intent. Putin, the architect of this growing military machine, remained characteristically tight-lipped about his ultimate goals. His pronouncements were a carefully crafted blend of historical grievances, accusations against NATO expansionism, and thinly veiled threats aimed at dissuading Ukraine from pursuing closer ties with the West. The Kremlin's rhetoric, laced with a potent mix of nationalism and historical revisionism, resonated with a segment of the Russian population, fueling a climate of suspicion and hostility towards Ukraine and its Western allies. The world watched with apprehension as the situation on the ground grew increasingly volatile. Intelligence reports painted a grim picture of Russia's capabilities and intentions, suggesting that this was not merely a show of force, but a calculated prelude to a full-scale invasion. The question on everyone's mind was not if, but when this powder keg would ignite, plunging the region into chaos and bloodshed. A comedian's resolve, Zelensky's response to the looming threat. As the spectre of war loomed large, Zelensky found himself at a critical juncture. The weight of his nation's fate rested heavily on his shoulders, a burden made all the more daunting by his relative inexperience in international affairs. His initial response to the escalating crisis was a mix of cautious diplomacy and a firm resolve to defend Ukraine's sovereignty. Zelensky, acutely aware of the power imbalance between Ukraine and its much larger neighbor, understood that a full-blown military confrontation with Russia would be disastrous. He appealed to the international community for support, urging Western leaders to impose crippling sanctions on Russia and provide Ukraine with the necessary military aid to deter further aggression. His pleas were met with a mix of sympathy and apprehension, with many world leaders wary of provoking Putin further. Despite the growing threat, Zelensky refused to be cowed into submission. He projected an image of strength and defiance, rallying the Ukrainian people with impassioned speeches and a steadfast belief in their right to self-determination. His message resonated deeply with Ukrainians, fostering a sense of national unity and shared purpose in the face of adversity. The comedian-turned-president, once dismissed by some as a political lightweight, was proving to be a formidable adversary. His resolve hardened by the gravity of the situation. Section 4, Whispers of War, Echoes of Support. Zelensky's interactions with the West. As the crisis deepened, Zelensky's interactions with Western leaders became increasingly frequent and crucial. he engaged in a delicate diplomatic dance, seeking to secure concrete support while navigating the complex web of geopolitical interests at play. His pleas for assistance were often met with warm words of solidarity, but fell short of the decisive action he desperately needed. President Biden, grappling with the ghosts of past foreign policy entanglements, was initially hesitant to commit to a full-fledged military intervention. He offered Ukraine non-lethal aid and imposed sanctions on Russia, but stopped short of providing the heavy weaponry Zelensky requested, fearing it would escalate the conflict. European leaders, while expressing their unwavering support for Ukraine's territorial integrity, were similarly cautious in their commitments. Zelensky found himself caught between a rock and a hard place, pressured by the West to de-escalate the situation while facing mounting aggression from Russia. He accused some Western powers of appeasement, arguing that their reluctance to take a more forceful stance only emboldened Putin. His frustration was palpable as he implored the international community to recognize the severity of the threat and take concrete steps to avert a catastrophic war.